Hey guys, it's Scott here from Horse Racing Daily, and this morning I'm going to go over if I think Improbable can win the Preakness. And I'll start off by saying he's a very dangerous contender just because of the angle that Bob Baffert has going from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness. And we'll start back in 2012 with Bodie got second in the Kentucky Derby to I'll Have Another. Looked like at the top of the stretch he was going to win that race that year, but got gunned down. And then 2015, you had American Pharaoh, won the Kentucky Derby. Of course, won the Preakness, went on to win the Triple Crown. And then, 2018, you had Justified do the exact same thing. So Baffert, definitely knows how to get his horses, from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness, or, if he runs a back, he should feel confident that he knows what he's doing. And the angle is the opposite. If Baffert didn't run a horse in the Kentucky Derby and points him to the Preakness, he should, worry a little bit, because in 2016, Collect had done that, went from the Lexington to the Preakness and, finished off the board. And in 2014, which I couldn't find a past performance that year, but Byron, ran on April 26th on the Derby Trail and went to the Preakness, finished 9th. So, you kind of, if you're going to take a Baffert horse in the Preakness, it needs to be one that ran in the Kentucky Derby. But I feel like Improbable, just feels just a little bit different than some of these other Baffert horses. Bodie was a really good horse. 2 Triple Crown winners in American Pharaoh and Justify. And I don't think Improbable, is on that same list. But I do think he's going to run well because, Baffert, is choosing to run him again. So I'm thinking he's probably going to get, second. He'd be a good horse to, fill your exacta around. And you see, he broke his maiden in September of last year. Ran in the street since 6th on, Churchill Downs, got first by 7 1/4 lengths, just dominated that field. Came back in Low South Futurity, dominated that field, won by 5 lengths. And then he had a little bit of a break, came back in March. I think they wanted to run him a little bit sooner at Santa Anita, but they had all them track problems. But he was bet down, it was a 2 to 5, favorite. And, we'll play the race. He's the, number 9 horse. He's ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. And see, they take off, and, he's going to break to the, outside. He's going to be caught, about 4 wide on this first turn. And kind of the whole way around, that's the story of the race. He was wide around both turns. He never saved any ground. And he ends up getting gunned down at the wire by, Long Range Toddy. They run the opening quarter in 23:77. Thought that was just a, average pace, nothing too fast. But, you see he's just on the outside the whole entire time. And I thought even with the, ground loss, the way he looked in the street sense and the Low South Futurity, ground loss or no ground loss, he should have put this field away, especially if you want to, win the Kentucky Derby, which, he didn't. He got, 5th and bumped up to, I think, 4th by disqualification. But, you see he's coming around the far turn. They ran the half in 47:58, still wide. He got Long Range Toddy, the winner, just kind of sit in the pocket, down here on the inside. And right here it looks like Improbable, is going to win. And you got Long Range Toddy, coming up, and, he's just going to gun him down at the wire. I don't know if Improbable lost focus or, what caused it, but, you can't have that, if you expect to compete, for the Triple Crown races. But after that, he came back, ran in the Arkansas Derby. I'll pull that one up real quick. And after the ad, I'll play the video. and he was acting up. He actually came out of the starting gate. Once he was just the first time they tried blinkers on him, and I don't know if he just didn't like it or what, but definitely went through a lot of energy, at the starting gate. But he's going to break towards mid pack, and if you think about most of Baffert's, you know, top contenders of the years, they're never really mid pack horses. They come to either set the pace or just sit one or two lengths off the pace. They got a lot of tactical speed. And I don't think Improbable has the same kind of, tactical speed that, like Justify or American Pharaoh or, Bodemeister, any of them have. To me, he looks more like a, McKenzie type runner that, sits more, mid-pack. But you see he's going to be, caught a little wide around that turn. He's making his, move right now. They run the half in 47.50. Another solid pace race. And you see right here, him and Omaha Beach, who's first, are, going to start separating themselves from the pack. And, it looks like at the top of the stretch, Improbable might have a, beat on catching Omaha Beach. Right about, here it looks like they're on even terms. But then, Omaha Beach, sets down and starts, putting them away. Now, I know Omaha Beach was the, Kentucky Derby favorite, and I wish he would have ran, but he didn't. So it kind of makes it, a tough case what to do with Improbable. But my gut feeling with Improbable, is he's not, he's not the same Baffert horse that's, that his usual crop that he puts out. So, we'll move to the, Kentucky Derby. And, this was after the opening quarter, this Kentucky Derby was, turned into a very slow-paced race. Once they went to 3 quarters, in 112.5, nobody was going to catch, maximum security. And we'll get to the starting gate. He's the number 5. It looks like he breaks, fairly well. They try to, urge him for, position. He's, caught down in horses right now. But, you see they're going to get the opening quarter, in like 22 and change. And he's sitting about, 7th or 8th, coming around the first turn. He's, kind of by himself. He's got, a couple other horses around him, but, nobody really, in his way. And to me, based on the, trip that he set, I thought he should have ran, a better race. He could have got, second or even, third. He kind of gets, tucked in behind horses there. But, he'll get an opportunity coming up, to kind of get out, away from horses. But they slow the half mile down to 46.62. Max Security is just getting a breather up here. You got Country House, sitting next to Improbable, on the outside. He ended up getting second. You see the 3 quarters in 112.5. And, maybe Improbable just doesn't like to run down by the rail. Some horses don't, like Bravazzo. But, you see right here, and, there's the interference from it. But he has a, a chance to come up the rail right there, and he just, doesn't seem to make a move. And, he's coming up, right there, and, he's not going to, even gun down the, 3rd, 4th place. He only gets 4th by, disqualification. And you got Tacitus, it took a little bit of a, beat, and actually, in my opinion, ran a better race, than he did. But, given the trip that he had for, a race with 20 horses, you gotta, you know, do better than that. You know, he didn't face, you know, much traffic trouble. That's about as perfect a trip as you can get for the Kentucky Derby. So I don't think I'm going to leave him out of the win spot, but you do have to respect the fact that Baffert, you know, is pretty good about running his horses from the Kentucky Derby, you know, to the Preakness. So keep that in mind, you know. Thanks, guys.